Our union continues to make major progress on rail safety. On March 31st, Ohio became the 9th state to require a two-person crew on freight trains. A few days earlier, Ohio State Legislative Director Clyde Whitaker represented SMART before a U.S. Senate committee hearing focused on conditions that led to the February derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, and the Railroad Safety Act of 2023. The committee also heard from the state's two United States senators, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, and rail industry stakeholders. Here are some key excerpts from that hearing.
I would like to begin by saying that our hearts of rail labor break for citizens of East Palestine. This derailment did not have to happen, and it makes it so much more frustrating for us to know that it was very predictable. And yet our warnings and cries for help over the last 7 years have fallen on deaf ears, and the outcome was exactly as we feared. Now the result is a town that doesn't feel safe in their own homes, businesses failing to survive, and railroad that prioritized its own movement of trains before the people in the community, as well as its workers.
Doing right by this community must include making sure more accidents don't happen. That's the reason for our legislative efforts. Norfolk Southern followed the Wall Street business model, boost profits and its stock price by eliminating, over the last decade, 38% of its workforce. These profits were spent on stock buybacks that benefit executives instead of investing in workers and investing in safety. Instead, they compromise safety, cut costs to boost profits. The communities along their route be damned.
You cannot, on the one hand, beg the government to bail you out of a labor dispute 3 months ago and then say that it's big government to have proper safety standards in the way that you conduct your railroads. It's a ridiculous argument. It doesn't pass the smell test. And the fact that they advance that argument in their op-eds and their paid-for activism is insulting to the people of East Palestine, and it's insulting to the intelligence of the members of this committee.
Taking out grade crossings, the accident and incident rate for Class 1 railroads, not including the short lines, Class 1 railroads is higher in each of the past 4 years than any year since 2008. A decade of progress has been wiped out. Their trains are growing longer, heavier, and more dangerous.
The degradation of safety is very real, and the numbers prove it. The frequency of derailments is up, the frequency of injuries is up, and from a railroader's perspective, the potential for another disaster is as high as it's ever been. We cannot allow the railroads to continue to dodge and sharpshoot regulations. We cannot allow them to be sole owners and creators of the data and safety statistics.
Ohio also became the first state to put regulations in place for the mandatory use, maintenance, and adherence to wayside defect detectors. To find out how you can help support these efforts, text the words rail safety to 67336.